Oh, good. I'm in the right meeting.
Hey, Leanne, how are you?
Eh, confused because I was here an hour earlier and then no one was here. What is going on? But I remember that we switched to summertime over the weekend, but not everyone did.
It's so confusing what to do. CNC, let me just go with whatever is official. So we told CNCF make it 1600 UTC. So now everybody switched, but so we're the only one. Everybody else is back at 10 2 weeks after everybody switched, but we're still at 11.
Yeah, there's like this 1 week where the US has not switched and the Europe has, or the other way around. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it's very confusing. All my meetings are like this right now. All my meetings are like, wait.
Because now Europe has switched too. But we
No,
didn't.
but we changed it last week and that was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Hello, Josh.
Hello, Saeem. How are
Hey.
you? Good to see you. Just to give folks a couple minutes, or whoever can join. We're always grateful for people that can join. It is a good way to, it's good to touch base face to face, or kind of face to face, once every couple of weeks.
I'm guessing everyone's really busy with KubeCon preparations as well.
Yeah. I've been trying to get the last bits of this paper done, and I think we're just about done. And we're a little early even, so I'm thrilled. But
So,
yeah,
Josh, when exactly you're planning to have this published? Like, I think currently for the CNCF, the challenge is they already busy already.
Sorry, I missed the last part. The challenge of the CNCF is what?
It's basically, I think they are really busy currently. They have so many things coming up. We might see some late reply from them.
I mean, all I really am I'm really depending on them just to publish. So I sent them, I'll tell you all today, but yeah, I'll tell you the state of things. But April 10th, let's talk. Let's go ahead and get started, I guess. It's 11:03. People will join as they come. They can watch the thing. All right, let's do this. Let me paste the notes in if people want to follow along. Okay, so first let me share with you all where we're at on the paper. As we were just saying, it is done, or V1 is done. It's merged. So now we're doing the work to get it published, posted, all that kind of stuff. You can see in this milestone issue, the last couple things are to get the PDF generated. Thank you, Saeem, for the graphic. They've got the doc they need, so they just have to generate it. The site is actually up and running. Yeah, I think I'm okay. It's a soft launch. So you can actually see it here. I'll paste it in. Yeah. So that's great. I'm excited about that. If you see anything there, I guess let us know. And then a blog post, I just Abby and me were working on it, and I just put it in as a pull request, just a draft pull request for now till we get the PDF. And it's in there. Oh, and yeah, and that website, check out the website, appdelivery.cncf.io. We've been working with Colin, who's not on the call here today, Colin Griffin. Big thanks to him for getting it started, and Chris Abraham, who's I want to also call him out. This site, appdelivery.cncf.io. It's a new Hugo site. That's gonna have our blog. If you go to /blog, it's got our blog posts. So if you go to white papers, it's got that. About right now just has some info about this working group. But yeah, it's a repo. It's a folder in the Tag App Delivery repo website.
Are we allowed to share this page already, or are we waiting on a big announcement?
I don't know. What do you all think? I guess we're gonna have an announcement. We're working on the announcement post I was kind of targeting the week before KubeCon. I mean, we could take this down and not even publish it yet.
I think have this running might be a good idea. We can see some good responses. Like on the final day, somebody can, this is not good. You have why you're doing that. I think having a 1 week of review, or we can ask CNCF to retweet or something. I think there is
Yeah.
some kind of raise awareness.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So maybe we'll do the raising awareness. That'll be April 10th. Like the one thing when Leanne, when you asked it, like, I'm like, if somebody goes and like kind of steals our thunder and like makes a big tweet about it, is that bad? I don't know. Is it bad? It seems okay.
Doesn't seem like it should be an issue.
Okay. So yeah, so I guess do what you will. It's open
It-
source.
It's all public information and it's out there in the public, so it's public.
Somebody can copy it and say, oh, they have to give us attribution. I don't know if it has a license on there, actually. The repo has a license. Yeah, and then if you do want to change the so two things I should tell you. Actually, so if you look in the website folder, which I just put in the notes, that's where we can make changes, except that we worked it out that we're using symlinks to the actual paper. So now if you look in the platform's white paper directory, which I can also paste in here, you'll see there's two versions now of V1 and latest. So going forward, the latest is actually what's live on the site. V1 will be what goes into the PDF. So if you want to make changes, just submit a proposal to latest, and that will even be picked up by the website right away. Super cool. I'm really excited about the same thing with
Yeah, I think this kind of worked out really good. You know, it's kind of not in the topic of this meeting, but I see that there's only the you know, our working group here. Are the
Yeah.
rest up to speed? Are the rest like getting
Well,
the
the
rest
rest are-
doing stuff?
The rest, I mean, I just didn't put them in and they're kind of inactive, but we could talk about it. Meaning GitOps is supposed to be inactive, I think, but I'll talk with them and the other two. But
Yeah,
but-
the GitOps working group is kind of the Open GitOps project now. So
yeah,
how-
I mean, if you all want it now, Robert, you work over there. If you all want to
Hmm.
bring your content into, I mean, it's probably too late for that. That ship sailed long ago, but if you did, you know, want to use this site for some stuff.
I can strong arm stuff
Yeah, if you
with
want to.
with my strong arms.
I mean, I would love to bring GitOps back into the fold. Like, you know, I think that
Yeah.
we could work together a lot. So
I agree. It gets kind of separated, which is kind of silly. There's no reason for it except, you know, I don't know. So I'll speak to people and we'll
Okay.
see.
cool. Yeah, so I guess the next item kind of related to the paper, actually, I'm going to ask Michael, who's on the call with us, Michael Luskin. He's been helping us develop the user survey. So I'm going to turn it over to him to talk about that.
Hey, sorry, I've been lurking in the background here. So we're working on the survey. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It got so quiet all of a sudden. We're working on the survey, kind of two streams of work coalesced. Josh was working on this to launch a survey in tandem with the paper at KubeCon, and myself and Oliver are we're looking at a survey as a way to recruit interviewees. So the survey's focus is to get a sense of between like maintainers and builders of platforms and then consumers of platforms, qualify them, and then get a sense of the platform's maturity within their organizations. So from the builder maintainer perspective, they'll be able to directly through some proxy questions answer the state of things in terms of culture and product and how, yeah, essentially how mature the platform is. From the consumers is the kind of other proxy way we can see if it's self-serve, if people are able to contribute, what does that look like? Can they access the services they need? Are the guardrails in place? So the goal is to get that feedback, to probably start thinking about how we could iterate on the survey and launch it with some sort of cadence to do kind of a longitudinal thing to see how things change in the industry over time. And then for us, more specifically and more immediately, we want to recruit those people so we can interview them one-on-one and go deeper on their experiences in their organizations. And I think, Josh, the plan is we have a meeting this week to kind of review those two conditional paths, the consumer and builder maintainer. And then I think the plan is to get a draft out by the end of this week. Turn it into a SurveyMonkey proper survey and get it out the door.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. We have CNCF. We followed their process and they said, just tell us the doc is ready and we'll publish it. I've been pushing them for like April 10th. That's what the date that I just am targeting.
That'd be, I think that's plenty of time for us to finalize it. And thank you for getting that going on the administrative side of getting a survey out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like I asked in Kubernetes, then I asked in the CNCF group, and then finally I found the service desk and they said, just give us the doc. But yeah, that's the process. So
nice. Any thoughts on that?
In particular thoughts is more of a like I've been a little bit inactive on some of these things because time, it's not there's not enough of it. But you've been doing, like, all of you have been doing a great job as far as I can see, like from the discussions and stuff like that. So good job on keeping this going, and hope we get a lot of good answers and potentially into UEs.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see kind of in aggregate how things stack up in terms of what things look like out there and what problems folks are facing. But particularly, it's going to be great to start lining up interviews and then be able to coordinate on our end to kind of divide and conquer across regions, like interviewing folks across all of these companies.
and if people are interested, they can even come to this meeting and present for
Yeah, if anybody wants to follow directly. But I think once once we get the initial survey finalized and all the administrative stuff planned, I think probably maybe in the next meeting we can start talking about what the plan is once we actually start qualifying and recruiting people to talk to.
Makes sense.
Because we'll be working on a script for those interviews.
I'm super excited. I mean, our whole thing is platform as a product and, be customer centric. So, we need to walk the walk. So thank you, Michael, for keeping it real.
Yeah, happy to help. Coming from product, I can't help but want to, start interviewing folks.
Nice. All right. Next thing on the agenda, I wanted to share with you all, just make sure you know that we're scheduling a few tag app delivery things at KubeCon. We have the pre-day event from 1 to 5. We'll have a booth on Wednesday and Thursday from like after the keynotes till like 2-3 o'clock. I think the first day is till 2:30, second day is till 4. Would love to come meet us there. I also put up there's a link in the thing, and I should share it here also just in case. But we're looking to have kind of like unconference, unmeetup, lightning talks about, realize you're talking to people that, spend their whole days deep in this stuff. So you don't have to start from 101, but we're looking for like 5 to 10 minute talks on the 300, 400 level stuff that, is new to us and, we should know about and collaborate on and things like that. So if you have something cool to share, don't be shy. It's only 5 minutes. So.
I have a question, Yusuf here. There are 3 interest points in tag app delivery. Number 1 is GitOps. The number 2 is app delivery, and the third one is platform. On the CNCF calendar, I only see the meetup for platform. I am more interested in app delivery and GitOps as well. So what is the calendar for that?
It's all on the website. What I would say that's the best answer.
So just to clarify, when you app delivery is actually the tag itself, while the working group the platform's working group, which this is, and what used to be the GitOps working group, which is now kind of the Open GitOps project, is underneath tag app delivery. So it's all kind of in the same domain, so to speak. But there's one meeting for tag app delivery, one meeting for the GitOps working group or Open GitOps project, and then there's this one. And yeah, you will find everything in the Google Calendar on that's I am just sent.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for the link.
Way it's CNCF is kind of interesting. We've got the talk tags, Ouija's, but the tag kind of is the coordinating all the works, and the Ouija's do the project. So like we're writing this paper, we created a Ouija. The operator could call themselves a Ouija if they wanted also while they're working on the paper. Sometimes Ouija's shut down if they're done with their work. Sorry, I keep calling it Ouija because I don't like to have to say the whole W. It's a big word.
Got it. And how to
There's
actively
a-
with the project? Is that a volunteer effort? There is work laid out and you volunteer for it?
Basically, if you show up to the meetings, there's discussion points and things that people are working on. If you're interested in that, just pay attention to where and how they meet. There's also the Slack channels where a lot of these things get shared. And if there's anything that kind of falls under tag app delivery or any of the working groups or even projects that are underneath the tag, you just kind of surface that as a thing that you want to work on, and people start organizing around the ideas. That's usually how it works.
Got it. Thanks.
That's a good segue into the last two items, which are kind of work we're starting to get started, like as we wind down the first version of the paper. I'll tell you, capability domains, what I mean by that is the level deeper into, I think of the paper as the attributes of the platform, which are things like platform as product, self-service, things like that. And then the capabilities of a platform, which are things like artifact storage, or that's a really random one, observability, identity. Anyway, there's a tracking doc in there. Also, if you go into our GitHub issues, there's a couple that I'm trying, like secrets and service bindings, I'm kind of trying to herd cats on. Basically, what I'm doing in mine, I guess I'll share, and we're starting to maybe do this for artifact storage, which is why I bring this up, is gather the people that have a stake. Like, let's say it's secrets, of course, HashiCorp, we need to get involved. Dapper has a secrets management system. We talked to the people contributing external secrets operator, a couple others, trying to get them together. My next step, when I have some time and we have, the 10 right people or 15, 20 right, stakeholders, will be pull them into a meeting and talk about the things we want to achieve, the ideas that we have, where the synergies might exist. And then if that succeeds, if we can get some momentum, then maybe form a Ouija, another working group in tag app delivery. It's kind of what I'm experimenting with. So the artifact storage, I wanted to mention this to you all. The folks that work on ORAS, which stands for OCI Registry as Storage, their goal is to, establish standards and patterns and practices for using OCI to bundle any kind of content, everything not container images they think about. So, when you see a Helm chart in an OCI image, or an operator framework operator in an OCI image, or there's
Or
a
a
bunch
Maven repository, or an NPM.
I haven't seen that yet, but yeah, that's on people's minds. So they're looking for a place to bring those people together. Like Artifact Hub is an obvious participant in that also, CNCF's project. And we're talking with them about maybe forming a working group and following that kind of pattern that we just said, bringing the right people together, writing up a one pager describing, their goals, and, then we can facilitate. So I think that's finding people to like take those to the next level. Like if somebody's really passionate about one of these areas, that could be cool. That could be, if you have a vision that you want to debate with people.
Yeah, I am right now bootstrapping a startup which is in app delivery, tag app delivery. And the idea is that, okay, observability spec is being standardized with open telemetry. And we can probably, if the observability stack across the language is being standardized, then probably we can standardize an app delivery component out of it as well, where we can have traffic training based on live traffic and stuff like that. So kind of tying app delivery with observability together to form a single platform for progressive delivery sort of thing. So
Okay.
that is area of interest, and that is why I wanted to join these meetings, because I wanted to know what the giants in the industry are actually talking about, and how these ideas are currently being shaped, and if I can help, if I can learn from it, and if the help can go both ways. So that is why I'm willing to contribute, and my team at my company will be willing to contribute anything here.
Okay, yeah, come to the meeting for sure.
Did you go to the working group GitOps yet? Because I feel like that's probably the closest working group to what you are interested in.
Yes, that is why I asked in the beginning that, okay, I see 3 working groups. One was GitOps and one was this. I see that, okay, we had the meeting for GitOps on Thursday, on Wednesday, 14th, I think, and these are 2 weeks. So I was missing it on the calendar. That is why I wanted to ask that, okay, no meeting after 2 weeks. That is what the calendar said. But I think
it is a recurring schedule thing, but if you're in the CNCF Slack, there's also the Slack channels that are
you muted.
There you go. Okay, I thought I clicked the button, but apparently I didn't. There are two Slack channels that could then be interesting for you to pay attention to. Is the WG-GitOps and the Open GitOps channels on the CNCF Slack. So a lot of those information, like when the meetings are and stuff like that, is also getting spammed there, and discussions are happening there as well. So if there's anything that's related to GitOps in particular, feel free to just add it to either one of those channels, and we maintainers of that will probably pick that up and start helping you in the right direction, depending on what you're asking for.
Got it. I am on a working group GitOps. You said that, okay, there is another channel by the name Open GitOps.
Yeah, so Open GitOps is the CNCF project which came out of the working group GitOps.
Got it. Yeah, I joined that organization on GitHub as well. So that is on my radar as well.
Excellent.
All right,
so meeting.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, there's just one more item on here, and I don't know, Leanne, if you want to talk anything about this. I know I'm working on demos and things, and I'm thinking about it, but I haven't contributed anything towards the prototype platform.
Sure. I'm probably not the best person to talk about it. Maybe Zane can also add something. But the main thing that happened was that last week there was a bit of a discussion in the issue about basically the discussion that we also had, like, hey, this is like one example of a platform, but how do we make clear that this is not the one and only way to do things? And yeah, so that was just like a lot of clarification. And then the big question, which I think we didn't answer in this discussion, was who will be maintaining this prototype, because it will go over into the ownership of the CNCF or this group. So while we can all say and agree that maybe the group as a whole maintains like the prototype, I don't think that's, I don't know, it just seems kind of like you're inviting some trouble. I'm not sure if we can solve this problem here now, but that's yeah, the discussion that we had, and I think that was the most interesting question that was unanswered. Saim, did you want to add something? Did you follow that conversation as well?
Yes, absolutely. So Josh, basically we have a chat with Salaboy, Mauricio Salatino in the past, that he wrote some kind of book. So basically we're working on some of the prototype. I think we started some discussion around what should the projects look like. So he spent some of the time around his book while he wrote his book about continuous delivery with the Knative. So he's basically actually have some opinions around using cross-plane, vCluster, Knative to work together to build a platform that basically you consumes the API using the cross-plane, and then the vCluster actually give you some dev environments, and then you have a GitOps approach. You can create the environment on the fly. So he has this prototype is already built up, but I think we have something on the paper that is actually in the past discussion. Like now, actually, we need I think the basic question is we need a demo at this moment of time. We have a repository that contains some code or some example materials that we can show to the people. Actually, what I'm thinking at this moment.
We need a what? I didn't hear that. We need a what at this
So basically
time?
on that document, I will try to share where it is on. We actually document some of the stuff like this is the prototype of platform should be. But currently the demo is missing, like example code sample. Mauricio has the example from one of his talk at the KubeCon,
Right, I
but
know
we
that.
need to figure it out, the structure, what should be we can extract from his repository and make it available on a separate repository and show these kind of projects, because those are all CNCF projects,
Mhm.
vCluster, Crossplane, or Knative.
Okay,
And they're
so
not all CNCF projects, but they're all open source.
Yes.
Just to clarify, yeah. And I think Mauricio right now, he's just very, very busy. So from what I can see, he has not been actively doing anything on the repository, but I mean, everyone's welcome to do it. It's completely public, everything. So you
is
could
there,
also,
is
if
that
you're
the
interested,
KubeCon
yeah.
and a Keynote repository? Is that what you're talking about? This
Yes,
last one?
yeah,
Okay.
that's the one.
And are you all okay with, I didn't read the whole thread yet, but I'll try, but are you okay with using that as the initial like thing that we go from?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the idea was that we start with one example and we add other examples on with other tools and other paradigms or approaches. Yeah, which is what was part of this discussion was. I think right now at the moment, I think the biggest problem is just that we're all super busy with KubeCon. So I don't expect any big movements until after.
Yeah, no, I understand. These things take time. I'm glad to hear that we're making a little bit of progress. That's
Yeah, so basically, like I think Josh, what we can do is like basically, remember we have a 3-layer like infrastructure, app, and basically they have 3 layers to work with. So there is a content already been the different places from the different contributors of the CNCF. We can use that, and that we can actually build upon, or actually we can skip that because the time is running short. It's actually we're actually probably 2 weeks away from the KubeCon.
well, yeah, I mean, I didn't put this as one of the things that we were gonna fit. I mean, it's great if we do, but if we don't, I think I don't think the goal is to be done by KubeCon. I mean, it's just a nice thing.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna happen by KubeCon anyway. But I'm kind of taking away like maybe if a nice doc on what the system is might help if that's not there yet. Like it brings together or an architecture document or something. Just might give people a place to start.
My question is, I have went through that issue board. So the problem space is very, very vast, and there can be multiple attack vectors, and I couldn't figure out what actually the attack vector here is for a minimal viable product, because if we see across the teams, every team, my time working with Verizon and AOL, there was always a sponsor to the project. So, and internally in an organization, a sponsor is not going to sponsor a project if he cannot be convinced of an immediate value. And whatever the product need is at that their time or platform need is at that time, we cannot get an internal buy-in. So there are multiple attack vectors, and that particular minimal viable product or the golden path the document talks about is not there. So if anybody wants to contribute to that minimal viable platform, what exactly is the attack vector for that?
I don't think it's supposed to be a minimal viable platform. It's supposed to be a spike or a prototype to show what you can do, but it's not supposed to be 100% secure or, you know, like usable in production. I mean, that was not what we intended to do at the beginning.
Okay. But even then, even if it is not intended to do, even if we are to show the capacity of what the platform looks like, we need to discuss the attack vector for that, right? If we are to build something, or I can be wrong.
No, I think you're right. I think that's what everyone is saying, that like there's a billion different possible platforms. Where do we start? And I think we're kind of saying like, we'll start with this one, we'll define it a certain way, and then we'll figure out, we'll go from there. I mean, if you want to build an MLOps platform, you know, or a minimum viable platform, you know, we can figure out where that can go if if you're passionate about that. But in the meantime, this is kind of where we're at.
No, okay. I would love to hear the ideas from all the people in the room.
What kind of ideas do you want to hear?
I don't know the possible attack vectors like.
Maybe I'm just not understanding what you mean by attack vectors, because I'm thinking about container vulnerabilities right now, and I don't know if that's what you mean.
No. I am. This is we have a problem statement, right? That we need to come up with a possible approach to a platform. This is what a platform looks like. Before we actually start coding that, we need to define, okay, how do we attack this problem? That is why I'm saying that, okay, what is the attack vector of this particular problem, not the threat thing.
I understand what you're saying now. I think we are not solving one problem with this. So we're not trying to define one specific problem and then trying to solve that problem. Instead, what we're doing is we have this example already that Mauricio was showing at KubeCon A, and we're just trying to generalize it a little bit so we can like we can just create a showcase. It's not supposed to be an actual solution per se. It's more like, this is how it could look like if you were to do something like that. But then you have your own specific problem and your own specific attack vector, and the prototype is not going to help you find out the exact way to solve your particular problem. Does that make sense to you?
Before it makes sense to me, I have a couple of questions. Number one, you are saying that, okay, the prototype is not an actual working prototype. So that means since there are what you are trying to say is that the problem space is so vast, we can have multiple prototypes. That, okay, we can approach
exactly
this, we can, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. So the platform that we are talking about on that particular GitHub issue, do we have any idea how that is being approached?
I think this is what Josh was saying, that some documentation that like just gives you a high level, this is how we're solving this very big problem. So we're solving it in this particular way. I think that's kind of the idea. There's also a doc linked to in the issue, right? Like a Google Doc, where there's a bit of what you were talking about, like what are what's the setup of the problem, I guess. Yes.
I really like I'm understanding what you're saying, Yusuf. Like as we're as we're developing a prototype, we should also define what is the theoretical, hypothetical problem that this platform was meant to solve. That's a fair thing. Like, yeah, Mauricio built this. What was, I guess with DemoWare, it's kind of which came first.
Yeah.
What was he thinking to solve with this, and make sure we're clear on that.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to understand.
So basically, Yusuf, actually, I shared his link to his repository. He's giving a talk with the Cube Day Japan. So basically, I think the idea, I'll give you some little bit of detail on this platform. So basically, currently the model is in the DevOps world is whenever you actually have some code, then you need a separate environment for the testing. And then you have a CI/CD pipeline from the development testing to the production. And it can cause a lot of time. You can build your development environment, then you file a ticket to your DevOps team, give me a separate environment so I can test my changes in that environment. When everything is actually working correctly, then I move my changes into the production environment. So basically a Jira ticketing process startup. So what his talk is, what the Cube did talk, he actually mentioned, you can use these three projects like Crossplane, and basically the vCluster, and then the GitOps. Basically what you can do is you give your infrastructure as an API for your dev teams who can call this infrastructure and then can create an environment like developer environment using the vCluster. Then you can deploy your code app on top of it. And let's say when you actually have a new app, new version of that app is deployed, then you consume another APIs, create another separate environment. When those environments actually merge, you use a GitOps approach to deploy that to the production. So actually it's shorten the loop from code to the production. So what is actually he showcased
Okay.
in his talk.
Understood. So when you are saying this, then there is no difference between the platforms that are or maybe a little bit difference that are offering environment as a service. For example, Release Hub, then there is ENV0. They are offering environments as a service. So what they do is they completely spin up a new environment with everything. So probably what the demo is that, okay, how can you build an environment as a service platform using Kubernetes? I think that is a fair assessment.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, that's the question for the Josh as well. Like, if we want to have some documentation for the prototyping, like remember we mentioned in our in our platform paper, reducing the cognitive load on the platform teams. So actually, what this repository is actually showcasing that how you can reducing the cognitive load, because developer end up doing the repetitive task. You need a boilerplate, a service, let's say monitoring system. So they have some kind of repetitive task. So this approach that the Salabhai is actually mentioning can actually reduce those repetitive tasks. So what we can include that, because this is already have some content available, we can refactor it, make a new document, and then we can link into the repository to that platform prototype. But that's actually showcasing the reduction of the cognitive workloads from the platform teams.
Yes. From the platform teams or from the, because platform team will be the one that would end up maintaining that particular platform. But from the actual developers who are actually solving the business problem, we don't want, actually the point of the platform, as I understand, as I can be wrong, is that, okay, we reduce the cognitive load. We don't want to worry the developer who's actually solving the business problem to worry about the infrastructure. We want to reduce his, and it would be like Heroku-like experience for him, that, okay, he should be able to do Heroku deploy like Heroku came in. That is my understanding. If I can be wrong.
I think it's, the overall idea is that, and this implementation of a platform is focused on exactly what you just said, like provide that like, you don't have to think about observability, you don't have to think about databases, you don't have to think about, hosting environment. Yeah. You're helping clarify, I think this is, we need to think about this at, when we publish this program, let's say we finish it in a couple of months, we should document all the stuff that you're bringing up and make sure we're clear.
Happy to help.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel up for it, not all the things that you just said or the subset of that you want to write down, like add them as comments to the issue. So we can capture that and it doesn't get lost, you know? And that would be super helpful. Or to the doc if you feel like it's more fitting in there. Either way.
If somebody can share the link, Josh shares the link to the video after each call, I will go through the call and I will just somebody in my team have it noted down, and then I will update the doc accordingly.
Yeah, just shared the GitHub issue in the chat, and the doc is linked in the GitHub issue.
Yep.
Awesome. That was a really helpful conversation. Thanks for challenging us on that, Yusuf. Good thoughts.
Happy to.
So that's kind of the end of the agenda. Is there anything else folks want to discuss?
I just have a last call for if you need anything delivered to KubeCon, so because I live in Amsterdam, you know, like stickers or whatever, let me know. I could probably still arrange it. There's like 3 weeks, so we'll have a lot of time.
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
So do we have a GitOps meeting tomorrow or not?
Uh,
I think you'll have to ask the GitOps team.
I
I
have so
don't
many
see
stuff in
the
my
calendar.
calendars. Hold on. No, tomorrow is not.
Okay.
I do believe it's let's see if I'm actually on the right one. Yeah, I believe it's the 5th of April,
5th of April. Got it.
if I'm not mistaken. Usually my calendar is not updated, but it usually is the same day as the tag app delivery, just at a different time.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Well, good to see you all. We'll talk one more time before KubeCon, I think, in 2 weeks, April 11th. Otherwise, see you online and see you in Amsterdam.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
See ya. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.